Why you need to get out. Think about that for a minute. Everyone, if you like the content, please like, subscribe, and share. So you need to get out of the narcissistic relationship. If you've already done it, you know it was one of the best decisions you've ever made in your life. If you are focusing on creating and developing and executing your exit plan, you already know that you need to get out as well. If you just figured out what narcissism is, or you didn't know what narcissism was, I should say, you need to really pay this video a lot of attention and play it multiple times. You see, if you are the person who's trapped in the cycle right now, unbeknownst to you, and you've been trying to fix an unfixable relationship, you've been trying to repair an unrepairable relationship, you've been blamed every which way to Sunday, you've been gaslit, stonewalled, given the silent treatment, triangulated, verbally abused, mentally abused, emotionally abused, financially abused, maybe even physically abused, then you need to understand that that relationship that you are a part of, it's not getting better. It's only getting worse. It's falling apart. Now, why I create videos each and every day, it's to pay it forward to those people who don't even know that they need help. And at one point, that was me. It's also to pay it forward to help those people who want to keep their cup topped up. They want to keep their cup full with wisdom. And they come back, and they've been coming back for over 5 years to continue to support the channel and pay it forward. Again, all the beautiful and insightful and intuitive comments from all over the world are really making a difference now. The channel has created a ripple effect throughout the globe. We are becoming awakened and aware. We are becoming educated and empowered, and we are understanding that we are the priority. We come first, second, and third, and there's no room in our lives for toxicity, which is why, as the thumbnail mentions, you need to get out. These relationships are not as bad as you think they are when you're in them. They are a billion with a B, billion times worse than you ever imagined once you are out of them and you have the ability to look back in time and see what you experienced. Your real life experiences with the definitions in the glossary on the narcissistic abusive cycle put together, that equals wisdom. This wisdom you are acquiring is a newfound superpower. It's something you didn't ask for. It's something you didn't know existed. It's something you didn't know that would select you to acquire it. And it's also something that the narcissist never wanted you to deduce or put together. Remember, the narcissist is not your friend. They're your enemy. Remember, the narcissist does not love you. They have no love. Remember, the narcissist is envious. They are jealous. They are hollow. They're shallow. They're anxiety riddled. And they are sinking ships. What they want to do is glom onto other people, empaths, if you will. And yes, empathy does exist. You're looking at one here right now. Yes, me. They want to glom onto empaths or kind, loving, stable people who are unaware or uneducated on the narcissistic abusive cycle, so they can use those people as a fuel source from one leg of their life to take them from one leg of their life to the next leg of their life. Now, the narcissistic relationship, sometimes it lasts for an hour. Maybe it's a bus ride. Maybe it's a couple hours going from one coast to the west coast. Maybe it's a day, a week, a month. Maybe it's 10 years. Maybe it's a lifetime. I can't tell you. What I can tell you is narcissism is everywhere. And there are so many people out there claiming that they know what narcissism is, but yet, I'll be blunt, they have no idea because they haven't been in the cycle. Now, do I wish anybody to be in the cycle? Absolutely not. I don't wish I was in it, but I was. And I have to accept the reality that I was trapped for quite a long period of time. Again, that's why I create videos and pay it forward. If you've been in the narcissistic abusive cycle and you've healed, you can finish my sentence. I can assure you I can finish your sentence if you were in the cycle. I can also tell where you are in the journey, how far you've come and where you're going. Now, what I know is because it's firsthand experience. Again, as I shared, you can't pay for this wisdom or this education in school. You can't pick up a book and read it and think you know everything. You had, I'm sorry to say this, but you had to unfortunately be in the trenches with the toxic behemoth, the juggernaut, the apex predator, the narcissist, to understand exactly what walking on eggshells means, what gaslighting means, what being sleep deprived means, what counter-parenting means, what it means to have someone sitting right over your shoulder telling you that you can't do anything right and that you're useless and you'll never amount to anything and you need them. You need to remember there's a key word in the narcissistic abusive cycle dictionary, the glossary. It's called projection. Now, what you probably thought projection was when you were in school in the teacher in the old days would take out the projector. Okay, put in slide 42 and slide 53, and let's look at the Panama Canal and see how that was created and built, or the Grand Canyon, and take a look. Okay, I get it. Projections, when the narcissist is dumping all their toxicity onto you and blaming you for their poor behaviors. This is what they've been doing since long before you met them. It's what they did when they were with you, and it's what they're doing right now. You need to understand, getting away from these people is one of the best decisions you will ever make. Now, it will sting, it will hurt, it will not feel comfortable for a period of time, because most likely you were caught up in the trauma bond, or definitely in the devaluation stage. Maybe even you were codependent. I am not a doctor, and I do not play one on TV, but I have a very vast lexicon of human behavior in my brain and my arsenal. Having said those things, your life will exponentially change once you kick the narcissist to the curb. Now, it won't happen overnight. It won't happen in a day, but you will understand, as I have, once you get the narcissist out of your mind, once you get them out of your energy field, once you get them out of your space, everything returns to you in spades. Now, what I mean by that is, and I've shared it for years in videos, your health usually will return. Now, will it return to as healthy as you were in the past? I can't tell you, but I can tell you one thing. When you're not being questioned every 5 seconds, and when you're not listening to doors be slammed, or the car engine be revved, or music blaring at 3 o'clock in the morning, or watching a person give you the side eye or the smirk, or treat you less than a complete stranger, when all those things go away, or when you're wondering and worrying about where they are, who they're with, or what they're doing, then what you do is you focus on yourself. See, this is what the narcissist didn't want you doing. They didn't want you focusing on yourself. That's why they enlist an army of people, a legion of people, if you will, to do things for them, because the narcissist can't do anything on their own. The narcissist is a copycat. They are a mimicker. They are a fraud. They're a shyster. They're a sham. They are a empty pit, a bottomless pit. They're a huge void, and they need to fill that void with what is known as supply. Remember what supply is. Supply is anything that matters to the narcissist in that moment. It could be a phone call, it could be a text, it could be a cup of coffee, it could be hanging up on somebody, it could be one of these moves. Just wait, I'll be with you in 20 minutes. Wait, just wait. And the 20 minutes turns into 2 days. The narcissist knows what they're doing. If you think for a minute that they don't know what they're doing, you really, really need to do a deeper dive on narcissism. They wear the same clothes you wear. They breathe the same air. They have access to the same information that you have. The thing is, the narcissist takes shortcuts. They cut corners. They don't believe that the rules apply to them. They don't believe restrictions apply to them. They don't believe the law applies to them. The narcissist believes that one more day on the planet is one more opportunity to hide from the truth, to blow up other people's lives and relationships, to hide money, to steal, to cheat, to lie, to take the wedding ring off the finger, and to go to some no-tell motel and do whatever they're doing there with all these weird, strange people they tend to hang out with. But this is what the narcissist has been doing. So again, I've shared this in videos over years. When you weren't with the narcissist, did you ever really know where they were? No, you didn't. You knew where they told you they were, or you may have thought you knew where they were, but think of how many times the narcissist would claim, I don't have cell phone reception here. There's a big storm coming in, I can't get it. Or my battery ran low, or I forgot to respond to your text, or I missed the call, or I didn't see it, or I was in a meeting. These are all excuses of a parasite. Excuses of a parasite is how the narcissist lives. They want to distract people. They want to disrupt people. They want to keep people stuck on the hook, thinking about them, pining for them, living in their mind rent-free, if you will. Once you wrap your head around what narcissism is, and that it has never benefited you, it never will, and it never can. Once you wrap your head around that, then you have to get as far away from these people as fast as you possibly can, which is why you need to get out. Again, if you go back in time when you met the narcissist, if they handed you a 2-page report and said, hey, read this. This is who I am. It's what I'm going to do to you. It's what I did to other people, and you'll be no different. Only maybe I'll really try and finish you off, unlike I try to finish everyone else off because they finished themselves off for me. You would have run for the hills. You would have said thank you, but no thank you. There are 8.3 billion people on the planet. Please lose my number ASAP. And I don't know who you are, and I don't want to know who you are, but I will research what kind of parasite you are. But that's not what happened. What happened is the narcissist infiltrated your life. They learned all about your hopes, dreams, aspirations, goals, your purpose. your former romantic relationships, your siblings, your parents, where you came from, your educational level, what kind of money you would inherit, where you want to go in life, and if you want to have kids, etc. They learned all about that, and all they did was mold you into thinking that they were on board with you. They were never on board with you. As I shared with you earlier, the narcissist is not your friend. They are your enemy, no matter what you think. Now, you may be thinking, that's a little rough, Andrew. They're not my enemy. Well, think about this. Did the narcissist add value in your life? No, they didn't. Did they take away value from your life? Yes, they did. Did they intentionally try to destroy parts of your life? Absolutely. Think about what I'm sharing. Let's use a very simple, layman's term example. Let's say there are two people, and I told you this the other day, shared it the other day. Say there are two people, and one person needs a ride home from work. These are two average, everyday people, no narcissist involved. One person needs a ride home from work, so the other person says, yeah, I'll pick you up at 5, and then I'll give you a lift home, and everything's good. So the one person picks the other person up at 5 o'clock on time, and they give them a ride home, and that's it, end of story. Okay, well, with the narcissist, if they knew that you needed a ride home at 5 o'clock, A, they may never show up. B, they may claim they have a flat tire. C, they may claim that they have no gas. D, they may tell you that they're stuck in a meeting. And then E through Z, it could be any excuse under the sun why they won't pick you up. Maybe they did pick you up. Maybe it was 2.5 hours late and your office building closed at 5:01 and you were stuck out in the cold or the heat for 2.5 hours waiting for them. Think about this. This is what they do deliberately, intentionally, and on purpose. The narcissist never had your best interest at heart. They never, ever wanted you to succeed. The narcissist, as I shared earlier, they're envious and jealous. The narcissist wants to take whatever they can from other people, and they want to leave them an empty shell of themselves. That's a beautiful, absolutely beautiful hawk right there. Wow. Guest appearance from the hawk. Thank you. He's circling around too. The narcissist never had your best interest at heart. What they wanted to do is take away from you. And what they wanted to do is inject all of their toxicity into you, so you would be left holding the bag. Think about what I'm mentioning to you. So now let's go back to the beginning of the video. If you know or recognize or realize that you're in a relationship that is not benefiting you, you really need to get that sheet of paper out. And the pro-con list you should be writing down. The pro list are the benefits of said relationship. The con list are the negatives about the relationship. And really be authentic and honest with yourself. Write the legitimate benefits of you being in the relationship and write the legitimate not benefits. Example, let's talk about money. What does the narcissist love more than money? They love your money more than money. And when the money runs out, usually the narcissist runs out. So think about whoever you are considering or whomever you were considering. Did you spend an equal amount of money on the relationship? You probably didn't. You probably spent all of your money that you were earning, all of your life savings, your 401k, your inheritance, and more, and you probably were up to your eyeballs in credit card debt like I was. Did the narcissist care? No. What were they doing when you were paying for everything? They were squirreling away their money, claiming that they didn't have any money, and when you perhaps had a medical concern or you needed some money for something, did they loan you money? No, they didn't, because they did not want you to succeed. They wanted you in debt. They didn't want your health improving. They wanted to take your 401k. They wanted to take your mind. They wanted to take your relationships, your health, your hobbies, your purpose, everything about you they wanted for themselves. But they didn't just want to take it for themselves. They didn't want you to ever supersede where you were going, which means they didn't want you to put yourself back together. They did not want you to rise through the ashes like a phoenix, dust yourself off by the bootstraps and heal properly. The narcissist was always in competition with you. They will always be in competition with you. One huge pivotal part of the narcissistic relationship, post-relationship, once you've healed and you look backwards in time, and I do this every single day when I create videos to tap into my real life experiences, is you look back where you were and you think to yourself, wow, before I met the narcissist, my life was going great. I'm referring to myself and probably you too. My life was going great. Golfing 5 days a week, owned a couple cars, my house was almost paid off, had a lot of free time. I had a lot of friends, wink, wink, that I thought were supportive. Turned out they weren't. But then you meet the narcissist and all that goes by the wayside. You don't have any time any longer. You don't have any money. You don't have much energy. What you're doing is you're working for a person who is peppering you with abuse, the whole while administering a smear campaign, saying to everybody who will listen how inept you are, what a bad person you are, how you don't do anything. Then they take whatever they can. They discard you. Yeah, true story. And then you heal. But when you look back at that, you realize exactly how far you've come. Who you were before you met the narcissist, that person's long gone. That's the first version of you. Who you became when you were with the narcissist, that person's never coming back. That was a person who was in the zombie-like, trance-like state, the narcissistic fog, the trauma bond, the devaluation stage. That was a person who was so beaten down and broken down, they were a shell of themselves. Yes, you're looking at a person who was that way. If you look back at my first video ever created called Glad You Made It, it was created March 31st, 2021 on a Thursday night, I believe, at about 10 o'clock at night. And I have a whole playlist called Glad You Made It. You really should check out that playlist because I'll be creating another one of those videos in 2 months. But when you look back at those videos, or you look back at where you were so broken, but you didn't even realize it. So now I'm fast forwarding to now, when you have the ability to look back and see where you were, what you accomplished, despite the fact somebody was trying to destroy your life. You're a remarkable human being. You are resilient. You're full of fortitude. You have what the narcissist wanted to extinguish, but they couldn't. You see, you are what I call a beautiful, bright, shining light. You are not supply. You are stronger than you know. You need to believe in yourself the way I believe in you. So if you've healed or you're healing and you're out of the narcissistic cycle and you're still working on yourself, which is what we are all doing, and you go back in time and think about who you were before you met the narcissist, what you became when you were with the narcissist, because that's when you were existing in that low vibrational quagmire state where the narcissist exists, and then you realize how far you've come. What you will put together, you will deduce, and you will realize is one of the best decisions you've ever made in your life was to go no contact, to block that person, to delete them, remove them, and all flying monkeys and people associated with them. You see, you don't want to know anything about the narcissist, and they should not know anything about you. And if you can maintain no contact and block them every way possible and get off the radar of that toxic person and all the flying monkeys and enablers and all the people that are on the payroll of the parasitical creature, the narcissist, then you will realize that you've done as much as you possibly can do to insulate and protect yourself when it comes to communication avenues being open or closed to the narcissist. You need to close them. You need to close them right now. If you are still playing with fire or still peeking on social media or still thinking that the narcissist does love you or they're going to come back and it's going to be kumbaya, you really, really need to play this video multiple times. I was a person who was trapped in the narcissistic abusive cycle for years. I didn't even know what it was. I didn't even know how I got there. I became a shell of myself. Like I shared with you, go back in the old videos, Glad You Made It, March 31st, 2021. I created that video because it's my moonshot, my calling, my purpose. I acquired the wisdom, and I needed to, and I still do today, and I will till my last breath, to pay it forward, to help those people out who don't even know that they need help, because I was one of those people. That's why you need to get out, and you need to stay out, and you need to play this video and play it multiple times, because the longer you hold on to that last breadcrumb of hope for the narcissist changing, the longer you hold on to the last breadcrumb of hope that they really did love you, the longer you hold on to that last breadcrumb thinking that they actually do care about you or that they can change, you're just going to continue to spin your wheels, because the narcissist will be sitting there mocking, laughing, grinning, smirking, saying, yep, you're not strong enough. You're not as strong as you thought you were, are you? That's why you need to get off the radar of these people. That's why you need to not tempt fate. And that's why you need to go no contact. And that's why you need to get out of where you were. Once you get out, you need to stay out. You need to super glue or gorilla glue or batten down the hatches any way possible. They need to never be opened again. They need to be sealed airtight. They need to be closed forever. Forever. Because the narcissist, if they can sense with their sixth sense that you still have avenues of communication open, they can rear their ugly head and attempt to hoover at a later date. Not everybody receives a hoover. You don't want a hoover. You need to become unhooverable and get off the radar of the narcissist, and you need to get out of communication with that person. And you need to understand that where you were is not where you are. And where you are, if you haven't healed fully yet, it's not where you're going. Where you're going is where I'm standing, which is the mountaintop, the pinnacle of indifference. This is where the sun is now shining on me from behind the Carolina trees here, brighter than ever on this cold winter day. To get here, it took me a mountain of work. It took me a lot of time. Meditation, journaling, practicing radical acceptance, healing childhood wounds, sleepless nights, tears left, right, and center. But I put myself back together against all odds during a pandemic. If I did it, you can do it. You need to believe in yourself the way I believe in you. However, you must do your part. Your part is go no contact, block that person. And once you get out, you need to stay out. You need to stay in the high vibrational energy. You need to let the low vibrational creature who's stuck in the low vibrational quagmire state, yes, the narcissist, you need to let them slither off wherever they're going to go to, as long as it's not anywhere near you. The narcissist will never change. They will only shapeshift. They will only continue to get worse and deteriorate over time. You were in the cycle. You're out. When you're out, you need to stay out. So everyone, that's the video. I hope you liked it. I loved doing it from the beautiful Carolinas. This is Andrew. Namaste. Have a great afternoon, evening, or morning. No matter where you are on the planet, you are not alone. I love you all, and I'll talk to you tomorrow. Understand a few things. It's cold, but it's not nearly as cold as it was a couple days ago. This weekend, it's going to be even colder than it was last weekend. I know you don't really like the weather report every 5 minutes, but I'm not accustomed to this kind of weather. Having said that, when you are in this cycle, you don't even know what a cycle is, you are in a very vulnerable position. You don't know what's happening to you. You don't know their definitions to your experiences. You don't know that the narcissist knows what they're doing, and you don't know there's a way out. Once you get the wisdom and you figure out what narcissism is, you really need to take this seriously. This is your life. This isn't just you have to go buy a new pair of sneakers, or you need a new pair of a new winter jacket. This is your life. You need to treat it as such. You need to get away from that person as far and as fast as you possibly can, because they do know what they're doing. They do not care. They just want to punish people who have what they want. That's why you need to really take this seriously. Here comes the wind. Everyone, I love you all. God bless you, and I'll talk to you tomorrow. Bye, everybody. Bye. It is cold, but not that cold.